There were two long videos totaling over an hour released from the Hogwarts Legacy team showcasing gameplay, and Merlin's beard does it look amazing. In this video, I'm going over some of the important points in case you guys didn't watch the whole thing. Hopefully my summary is a smidge shorter for you. Hey magical family, it's Craig from the Wizarding Sibs, and welcome to our channel where we share our love and enjoyment for the Harry Potter universe. One of those things will be the video game Hogwarts Legacy, coming out February 10th. Let's get into it. The showcase video starts off with the character creation, and you can definitely spend a good hour on this alone. It starts off with multiple presets to choose from, at least 24 from quick scrolling, and with quite a diverse roster as a starting base. Then, you can proceed to other tabs for more details, and here, most things again have presets to help give you a starting point on customization. But for those with a penchant for detail, there are sliders to fill in the details for further modification, which you can use for hair, hair color, eyebrow color, facial shape. There are extra small things like adding glasses as well, and facial details like freckles and scars. Customization isn't constrained by gender, such as in hairstyle as well as voice. Voices begin as more masculine or feminine, but you can then use a slider to change pitch. And I'm glad you'll be able to hear your own character's voice acting as well throughout the story. Overall, it looks like you can really flesh things out and create an avatar that looks very much like yourself, or whatever you would like to look like. I know I'll be spending a really long time on character creation. Of note, you won't be able to change all features of your appearance once you officially start the game. In the Q&A section, they mentioned there is a wizard barber, so you can likely change your hairstyle and hair color, but you won't be able to change major facial features, like nose shape and eyes. This also means you likely can't transfigure yourself, or you cannot be a metamorphagus like Tonks. Also, for other appearance-changing options like Polyjuice Potion, if it is used as a device in-game, it will likely be for plot, and you would morph into a character that already has a set avatar in-game. Another major thing to point out is the difficulty section in the character creation. There is a story mode for people who just want to immerse themselves in the world and storyline of Hogwarts Legacy, as well as a hard mode for the gamers that want that extra challenge. When we talk more about combat, this is where people may want to adjust settings. Next up is house selection, and in the video, they specifically mention choosing your house, and I really hope it can be a choice in the end, because, as Albus Dumbledore says,
"It is not our abilities that show what we truly are. It is our choices."
I hope there is still some way to determine houses similar to OG Pottermore with the Bazaar quiz, so it can give people suggestions for their house, if they've never thought of it before. But ultimately, I do still hope they give the player the choice in the end. Given as we are starting the game as a 5th year, there may be something entirely different from the Sorting Hat. In the video, they showcase the Hufflepuff common room, and it looks absolutely gorgeous and really cozy. Each house is based off of an element, Hufflepuff being earth, and it seems accurately near the kitchens with all the barrels outside, so you know the developers have been paying attention, even to things that are more alluded to in the books. I hope you can explore all the common rooms, even as a different house student in-game. Next up is a really key point, which relates to the core progression of the game. It is important to note that Hogwarts Legacy will not be a school life simulator, akin to other life simulators like The Sims or Animal Crossing. For example, there is not a time of day that is scheduled to go to class. For example, at 1 p.m. game time, you won't have to go to Charms class, and Charms class won't always happen at that time. Classes will be more part of story missions, which will then give you the necessary spells and tools to progress in later parts of the game. In this way, you cannot skip or miss class, as the classes are built into the story. For example, it seems you may get a quest where you have to attend Defense Against the Dark Arts, and the story will not progress much further until that is completed. However, from an open world perspective, you will definitely still be able to explore anywhere that you see, but you may be locked out at certain times until you have learned a certain spell. Related to progression in the game is the Wizard's Field Guide, which helps guide you on what to do in such an open world if you're feeling lost. There are challenges involving combat, quests, exploration, and the Room of Requirement. There seems to be a lot of horizontal progression, which include lots of collectibles like guide pages, which you find with the spell Revelio, giving you information about the world. For the completionists and explorers, this will be a treasure trove of fun scavenger hunting. Other fun details include the flue powder network for fast travel, which doesn't seem like it will always be in a fireplace, but will still be used at checkpoints with flames, and will still be a really useful game mechanic once you need to get to different points more quickly. They showcase a quest sequence as well with dialogue, and although there is no true mention of a morality system, you can see different dialogue choices where you can certainly be more sympathetic or jerkish towards characters. From a world-building perspective, they also discuss how some things from the books and movies will be involved to flesh out the world, but not necessarily playable. Specifically, they mention gobstones and wizard's chess. We won't be able to play these games within the game, but they will still be mentioned and referred to. Seasonal changes are reconfirmed to be present, with even parts of the castle changing according to the season, and there will be a day and night cycle. I hope that this will also be reflected in the Great Hall ceiling. Now to the meat, the combat system. In Hogwarts, the dueling club located in the clock tower will act as the training ground and tutorial area, so if everything seems overwhelming, you'll be able to learn the basics first. Also, story mode will likely simplify combat if you don't want to deal with any of it. You can learn well over 20 spells, and they reconfirm spells from the dark arts as well. Some spells will be for combat and others for puzzle solving. You'll be able to slot up to 16 spells at a time for combat once you've progressed much further in the game. Spells are color-coded and categorized, such as damage, force, and control spells. They can be cast in combinations, with usually one of your main spells being a finisher, interspersed with regular shots. Spells will be controlled by a cooldown timer, so you won't be able to spam a powerful spell over and over again, although this will be modifiable by the talent system. Certainly, enemies will also target you with spells. When there is a halo around your head, it lets you know an enemy spell is coming your way. You will then be able to dodge, or you will also be able to use Protego, which they indicate with the triangle button on the PS5. This will shield you from enemy spells. If you hold Protego long enough, you end up performing a Stupefy counter spell after your block. Enemies will also be able to block spells, and you will have to use spells of the same color as their shields to break them. Overall, combat seems really dynamic and exciting. I love the animations of their spell casting, and they even mention that it looks like long-range fencing. One of the reveals I'm most excited about is the ability to practice the dark arts. Let me know in the comments below if you plan to use the dark arts and unforgivable curses. You will have the choice whether you wish to indulge in these spells, but even if you don't want to keep them as part of your list of spells, there will be practice battle arenas for you to specifically try them out, regardless of your moral affinity. One such area seems to be in the Forbidden Forest, which is appropriately spooky, and I love this animation of the cloak opening and ushering you inside to tempt your dark side. For the dark arts, the 3 unforgivable curses are all usable, starting with the big one, Avada Kedavra, the killing curse. Look at this sick animation. They are keeping true to the roots of the spell. It is a flash of green and one hit kills opponents on successful hit. Appropriately so for game balance and mechanics, they have given the spell a long cooldown timer, so you cannot be spamming it, although they hint that through the talent system, you may be able to modify the spell for multiple kills. They mention being able to tag multiple enemies with a curse, and upon hitting the initial cursed enemy with Avada Kedavra, all cursed opponents will die to fulfill your true Voldemort fantasy. Next is Crucio, the torture curse, which you can see being used here, and you hear someone really scream in pain. Last is Imperio, which lets you place your victim under your control. In combat, you can see it makes opponents switch sides and attack enemies for you, but it's unknown at this time if Imperio will be usable outside of combat to have people do your bidding. These 3 curses all have long cooldown timers given their power, and it will be interesting to see how people choose to use them. They also reveal a bit more about ancient magic. It seems the spell that allows you to grab an object and throw it at your opponent is one of the ancient magic spells. A second one they show is able to do a large amount of damage. When enemies are defeated, or when you do a number of combination spells, there will be blue orbs that drop. When collected, they fill your ancient magic meter, which then allows you to use your ancient magic spells. Also helpful in combat are consumable items and plants. They mention the rock skin potion, which helps boost defense, and you'll be able to use plants like mandrakes that scream and stun enemies, or other unnamed plants that can act like turrets and attack enemies for you. You'll be able to brew potions and grow plants in the Room of Requirement. From the Wizarding Field Guide, there will be combat quests and challenges. This will help players try out different styles of play. Again, combat looks really dynamic, and watching this troll come at you with a combo attack is thrilling to watch. Next, at the beginning of the video, they show off the beautiful landscape surrounding Hogwarts while flying. You can see the incredible attention to detail to the environments and surroundings they put into the game, based on the Scottish Highlands. We have a sign here that shows some names like Brockborough and Arranshire. I love all these extra details they are putting to flesh out the world, and these are just sneak peeks. While showing off the landscape, they also show off different mounts, including the classic broomstick, the hippogriff, and a thestral. Flight on a broomstick looks really smooth. You won't be able to get a Nimbus 2000 or a Firebolt, because these haven't been invented yet, as the game takes place in the 1800s, but broomsticks can be customized, or at least different kinds of broomsticks can be bought and will offer slightly different modifications to flight as well. There is a turbo option, but to start off, it is only usable when you are closer to the ground, and you won't be able to use it when higher in the air. I love the casual pose your character takes while riding a broom. They then show a hippogriff, which can gallop on the ground for faster speed, but can also easily transition to the skies in flight. The mounts seem to come out directly from a book, or what may be your Wizarding Field Guide. It is absolutely stunning to be able to ride such an iconic creature from the series. Pre-ordering the game will come with an Onyx Hippogriff mount. Remember to keep eye contact when bowing. The last mount they show is the Thestral, as part of the Dark Arts package. Thestrals are what carry the horseless carriages to the school from the books, and can only be seen if you have seen death. Otherwise, they are invisible. So, you can assume your character has seen things. I mean, after all those Avada Kedavras. They only show it running on the ground, but they can also fly as well, so it will be really cool to see that in action. They again show the seasons, and confirm that some events or creatures may only be available at certain times of the day or night, giving good reason to explore the same area multiple times at different points of the day and year cycle. Lastly, they show off the Room of Requirement, which acts as your home base. Here, you will be able to brew potions, organize gear and gear stats, take care of magical creatures, along with more. This is also where some Animal Crossing elements come into play, as you will be able to customize your space with furniture and other objects. You can easily change the color and size of your furniture to really make the space your own. These items, that they call conjurations, will be given as learned recipes from quest rewards, or can be bought from certain stores like Tomes and Scrolls in Hogsmeade, so you will be constantly updating your space over time. For equipment or gear, clothes will come with different stats or magical properties. What I'm happy about from a quality of life standpoint and in keeping with customization is that these stats can be transferred and will not be locked to one piece of equipment, so you will be able to look like whatever you want while keeping the exact stats and abilities you would like as well. Upgrading gear will require materials, and these can be obtained from care of magical creatures in what they call the Vivarium. The Vivarium is where beasts you rescue from poachers or manage to tame will be located. You can groom and feed them, which will likely increase an affection meter, which, the higher it is, the more likely you will receive items that can upgrade gear. The Vivarium is also customizable, from trees, plants, to structures like arches and ruins. These can also be changed in color and size. Vivariums can also expand to different kinds of environments like meadows and swamps. It definitely sounds like the devs considered this as an integral part of progression rather than a side piece, and so you will likely return here quite often. And that's the recap. Overall, each showcase has just made me more and more excited for the game. There is an incredible amount of things to do, and I'm just excited to explore the world, let alone fly, use cool spells when fighting, and taking care of magical creatures. February can't come soon enough. Alright, thanks for watching. I will be posting a playthrough of this game on this channel when it lands, so feel free to subscribe and stay tuned for it. Nox.